For our first speaker of the day, Janeen has been a Toastmaster for several years. As a result of her personal journey, she has been exploring and learning about stress, tension, and trauma. Today, she would like to share with you a valuable technique to promote healing, release stress, tension, and trauma. Her speech is off the manual and it's called Shake It Off. For 6 to 8 minutes, please help me welcome Janeen.
No, not that.
Shake it off. Woo. You may have heard someone tell you to just shake it off. Shake off that experience, shake off that memory, shake off that sadness. Shake it off. Shake it off. Well, I'm here to tell you that there's some truth to shaking it off. But before I talk about shaking it off, I'm going to go to another topic, what seems to be unrelated, but really is, and that's stress. We all have stress. What is stress? Stress is difficulty that causes worry and anxiety. It causes us to not be able to cope and change our behavior. Stress can come from our everyday lives. It can come from accumulated stress, tension, anxiety. We can also have stress that can be translated into trauma in our organism or in our system. Most of us have stored stress in our bodies, but we are simply not aware of this. What I'd like you to do is look at the handout that I passed out. We're going to talk about what happens when our body experiences stress and tension, or even a traumatic event. Our fight or flight system, otherwise known as our parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system, is designed to be in balance. If you look at the bottom of the chart, the green section, that's a balanced state, a balanced nervous system, balancing parasympathetic and sympathetic. But when we experience stress, tension, anxiety, and trauma, we start to climb. And we climb into the fight or flight system. We experience anxiety, irritability, frustration, panic, all kinds of emotions, as you can see on this chart. You get to the top, you can actually go into the freeze, which is often noted when you see a deer jump in front of the headlights and they freeze and they don't run. That's the freeze mechanism. But that is the fight or flight system. So how does this relate to shaking it off? Well, in order to explain shaking, what I would like to talk about is a very impactful technique that actually elicits a natural response to tremoring or shaking mechanism in our body, and it's called TRE. TRE stands for the the tension trauma release exercises. TRE is a series of 7 exercises and stretches that prepares the body to actually elicit or evoke this tremor or shaking mechanism. The tremor or the shaking mechanism is intended to release deeply embedded tension and trauma. It's an organic process, and we refer to this tremor as a neurogenic tremor. I like to loosely call it shake it off. These tremors or shaking are innate to every one of us. This release, this tremor, this shake, improves all functions of the human body, physical, emotional, and mental. So the purpose of TRE, and ultimately tremoring, is to rid the body of deep tension, trauma, stress, and anxiety, and ultimately bring the balance back, that natural balance back, through neurological, biochemical, and anatomical harmony of all the systems. All of us have some level of stress and tension in our bodies via our lives. So the purpose of the TRE tremor mechanism is to restore us back to balance, to promote healing. Why is this TRE or tremor mechanism so powerful and so effective? TRE is built on the premise that there is a completely natural physiological response that we all experience, every single human being on the planet, that when we experience tension or stress or trauma, we go into the fetal position. Likewise, the body provides an alternative response to that, and it's the neurogenic tremor. The neurogenic tremor is meant to release that contraction and open up from the fetal position, open back up, and balance out that nervous system. So the parasympathetic and sympathetic, or the fight or flight, go back into a homeostasis, or back into balance. Tremoring is a natural response available to all of us. And as I mentioned, we become stressed, and tension and anxiety puts us into this hyper-aroused state. Unfortunately, the view of tremoring is not well received. For example, as a Toastmaster, my knees are tremoring, and that's not a good thing, right? But it's actually a release. It's a release of the anxiety. It's the release of the tension. So from the worldview, culturally and sociologically, we suppress the natural tremor mechanism. The great thing about this technique, or the tremor mechanism, is that it is available to everyone, as I mentioned, and it's beneficial to the whole organism. Some of the benefits of TRE, which make it priceless in my mind, is first of all, it's easily learned and often experience immediate effects. It can reduce worry and anxiety. It can promote endurance and energy. It can help resolve grief. It can improve our relationships. It has been shown to improve back pain. It has also been shown to improve chronic medical conditions like MS and Crohn's disease. There has been documented research on the tremor mechanism actually eliminating or reducing PTSD symptoms. The tremor mechanism, by way of TRE, is also easily integrated into your daily routine, and also can be used with other modalities and other therapies. And one of the things I like the most about the TRE technique is there are no side effects. No side effects for reducing anxiety and tension. So tremoring, or shaking it off by way of the TRE technique, is a relatively new concept to most. It has been out there in the world of trauma for about 20 years, but really is recently reaching its pinnacle now as far as people becoming aware of it. So I would like to leave you with, yes, Shake It Off is powerful and impactful, and if you're interested in learning more about the TRE technique, I would love to share more with any of you after the meeting. Thank you.